I served 26 years in the Navy, mostly in submarines, including 3 years working directly for Admiral Rickover in West Milton, New York. I commanded 2 nuclear submarines and a submarine repair ship before retiring and returning to California and working for Bechtel in the city for quite a while. During that time, I went to seminary and got my Bachelor of Theological Studies and was ordained to the ministry in 1981 and have served in the Episcopal Dioceses of California, Hawaii, primarily to the aged and the homeless. When living in Hawaii, I received my medical care at the family practice at Schofield Barracks, and it was excellent care. And the thing about it that I was surprised about, I never knew what a DO was, but the person in charge of that whole family clinic in Schofield Barracks was a DO, and I found out how good they were. And when I came here and found there was one there, I signed right up for it. A personal thing, recently as a result of his thorough examinations and tests, a cancer in my bladder was discovered in an early stage and is now being treated by a urologist. I believe that Dr. Hill was responsible for this early detection, and I'm really grateful to him. Thank you.
My name is Mark Diedemann. I'm originally from New Jersey. I retired from the United States Navy in 1991 after 22 years of service. Thank you. And I'd like to thank the captain for his service, by the way. I served for 20 years as a chief petty officer when I retired. I served at Mare Island. I served on 10 different ships all over the world. Now, Dickie has been my treating primary care physician for about 6 years now. I used to live in Benicia. I moved to Glen Cove and Vallejo a few years ago. Whoa. But what I came here to say is this, and it goes back. It's a pretty good tradition in the Navy. We cover each other's backs. Dickie was a former medical officer in the United States Navy. He was good enough and competent enough to treat active duty men and women and their dependents, and now somebody's going to come along and tell us he's not competent enough to treat us? I don't think so. What I want to say is this. When I first went to Dickie 6 years ago, and not only that, he treats my wife also, but when I went to Dickie 6 years ago, I could barely walk. I could barely walk without a cane, okay? I don't look too bad now, right? And this isn't a testimonial to some miracle. The VA couldn't do anything for me. Travis couldn't do anything for me. Nobody seemed to be able to figure out what was wrong with me. Dickie did. He spent time with me. He gave me his cell phone number. He diagnosed me with a lot of problems that nobody seemed to recognize in our competent world of medical practitioners. Why? Let me tell you why. When I would go to Travis, or I would go to the VA in Martinez or Fort Miley or wherever I happen to go, what's wrong is the first thing they'd ask me. And I tell them, well, this is, before I could even finish, oh, okay, well, let's give you this. Boom, done. Dickie would spend 20, 30, whatever it took to find out exactly what my problems were, and by that he was able to deduce what the issues were, okay? And he almost attacked me one day because I was diabetic and I didn't want to go on insulin. I was taking pills for that, but it wasn't working enough, and my sugar was just too high. And Dickie, every time he saw me, beat me over the head. Now I'm on insulin, and my sugar is much better, and thank God that Dickie's in this community. God bless him. We need him, and we can never permit maybe doctors that are looking for some more business to take us away from him.
Hi there, my name is Earl Miller, and I run the drug and alcohol program called Reach Out Benicia for the last 15 years. All through the years, the last 15 years, I've come across a lot of clients that couldn't afford doctor care, and there's been a lot of times on the books where Reach Out had no money either. And I have always depended on Dickie no matter what. When I give him a phone call and I say, this is the case, this is what's going on, Dickie has never said no, ever once, whether we had money or didn't have money. And that's been the same way for 15 years. I'm still referring clients to him even to date. And when I have special cases that they need stuff that I know that the hospitals are going to turn them away, and I know that it's either going to be a case of live or die, I know I can depend on Dickie. I know I can send them to him, and I know that they're going to go through red tape and garbage anywhere else they go. And I always know that Dickie will take care of them. And it's not a fact of money. It's not anything. It's about his heart to take care of people, and that's been the same all these last 15 years. I think it's a shame. I think it's absolutely wrong, and I'm glad to see something like this and the amount of people that have showed up to say the same as I'm saying. We live in a pretty strange world and a pretty strange times at present, you know what? And we need to hold on to what we have. And we have a great community, and we have a great doctor. I have had times over the last 15 years where I haven't had any money. And you know, it's kind of humbling when you have to go to the doctor and ask for a flu shot and say, I don't have any money, you know. And he's always told me, don't even worry about it. It's not come back and pay me later, or that we'll put you on a payment plan. It's always don't worry about it. You take care of people, I take care of you. And that's our Dickie Hill, and I love him more than anything in the world, and let's keep him here.
Good evening. My name is Mark Menacini. I hail from Martinez, California, and it was an honor to cross over the bridge to speak in behalf of Dr. Dickie Hill this evening. On July 8, 2008, I was at work, and about 12:30 in the afternoon, I stood up, and all of a sudden, I had this excruciating pain in my lower back going down my left leg. I could not walk. I was taken to Kaiser to see my doctor. Talk about Kaiser. And they gave me all kinds of drugs. You name it, they gave it to me. It did no good. I went for multiple x-rays. It did no good. And the head pharmacist from Kaiser Martinez at the time, who was a personal family friend, said, Mark, you've got to call this Dr. Dickie Hill. He's in Benicia. Here's his phone number. I guarantee you, Kaiser won't pay for it, but he will take care of you, and whatever he charges you will be worth it. By God, that was a true statement. I called over there, and his kind staff got me in the same day. They squeezed me in. I hobbled in crutches. Dr. Hill came out, took one look at me, and says, I got to see you right away. He put me in the back room, put me on the table, talked to my wife and I, did some manipulation on me, gave me a little shot, a kick in the ass, and he says, get up and walk. I got up, I walked 3 steps without my crutches, and I damn near cried. This man is the most kindest, original, genuine doctor in my 60-plus years of being on this God-given earth that I've ever met in my life. You know, yesterday, in the Contra Costa Times on page A6, I saw this thing, and it says, that's Dr. Hill in the middle. What the hell is going on? And I read this article, and I called his office up, and I says, what can I do to help Dr. Hill? So Dr. Hill called my house back, and we weren't home, but he left a message telling me about this meeting tonight. So I'm in the middle of moving. My house is for sale. All my medical records are all in storage, and I didn't have all the exact dates, but from July 8th for 2.5 months, Kaiser didn't have a clue. I was on crutches. So Dr. Hill, after my appointment, he got out his little medical pad and he wrote this note. Just give it to your doctor. He says, you need an MRI. Sure enough, they did an MRI. I had a herniated disc, and a piece of the disc broke off and lodged under my sciatic nerve. And Dr. Hill said, Mark, whatever you do, don't do any surgery until the end of the year. Well, doctor, I waited till January 25th of 2009 after seeing 3 specialists before I had my operation. And I still have some problems, but thank God to that man right there. I'm walking without crutches. I do have a little discomfort, and I'm still not out of the woods, but I'm a hell of a lot better than what I was, and I owe it to Dr. Dickie Hill. Dickie, as far as I'm concerned, all these anonymous people that want to make statements, they obviously have no pain, and I hope to hell that they don't need you one day to take care of them. The other thing about anonymous and no names, if you don't bitch if you don't want to put your name in the paper. And it's quite obvious that they have no gumption to do so. And like I said, the head pharmacist at Kaiser recommended this man to me. And I don't know where I'd be today if it wasn't for him. And I have since retired from work. Doctor, I will be happy to speak on your behalf at the Orthopedic Medical Board. I will look him right in the eye and I'll call it like I see it. And if you need me, you have my permission to use my name. You know how to get a hold of me. God bless you, and God bless all of you for showing up tonight.